For tournament anglers, the title of Classic Champion is the ultimate goal, and very few ever achieve it. It has been a long road, and for Pete Garnier, Classic Champion is a done deal.
But we were pretty happy, pretty satisfied in establishing a 3-pound lead going into the final day. Certainly didn't go to our heads, but the key was those small shiners that were locked on the structure.
In this film, Carey Miller captures the dynamic personalities and transcending moments that elevate this sport beyond mere fishing.
That's a big question I get asked an awful lot is, where did you get your fishing background? Where did the interest come from? And Carey, you'd probably relate to this quite closely, is I have no answer. It's a personal, it's an internal thing. It's a passion of mine. My dad doesn't fish. I never had that uncle to take me out there, or grandfather or anything. And, I didn't have anybody in my family or anybody close to me to really take me by the hand and teach me at least any sort of ground level way of approaching fishing, and it was all in Fisherman magazine. I credited Al Lindner. He doesn't know it, but that man taught me how to fish.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. You also like to share knowledge, helpful, with the younger people.
Not you tournament guys.
No, I guess maybe because he didn't have that as a child.
25 years.
I know.
And most of it's been dominated by competitive fishing. I guess it's a match made in heaven for sure.
It is.
Whatever your passion may be, it is often a struggle for couples to find balance. In marriage, couples strive to be on the same page. Although everyone's needs are unique, Pete and Marg have figured out how to set their course and navigate obstacles to arrive at a desirable destination.
In 1989, I started guiding at a place called Canada North Lodge. And again, fishing dominates our life. Margaret was a part of that outfit as well. She came up there to work a couple of summers and brought the kids up when they were, Ben was right here.
Yeah,
one
was
summer.
18 months.
And Elise was only, a year and a half old. But guiding gave me exactly the same sort of thrill or the edge. It just forces you to find those fish and keep working really hard when you're on the water. And I just absolutely love that. I like the challenge of it. We were trying to put a number on it, and I think I'm probably around 26 or 27 events this year. And in this part of the world, that's pretty much every weekend. You're either in an event or you're certainly getting ready for one.
The calendar is all blocked off,
I've
when the
almost
pre-fishing starts, when the tournament is, where.
In the past I've fished with multiple partners before, or in the Pro-Am days, there's been times when I've woken up and, I've woken up, Margaret's woken me up, and I turn and I say, what lake am I going to? Who am I fishing with, And that's
what's today?
That's very, very true.
I feel like I'm going to the tournament because I get up in the morning as well. I feel if I don't, I'm going to jinx it or something. But it's just something I do. It's like other people say, oh my God, you don't have to get up. I said, I know I don't have to, but I do. Because that's what I've done. It's part of my life, right?
Yeah, having that support at home is, you can't put any kind of value on that, you know what I mean? And I think over the years, we've seen it go the other way for some people too. And, that's another reason why it's not necessarily for everybody. And I don't think anybody has to fish as much as I do either. You know what I mean?
He asked me one year. Do you remember this? You asked me one year, Marg, do you want me to quit tournament fishing? And I looked at it and said, are you crazy? That's part of your life. I can't take that away. That's what would drive me crazy. But it's just, that's what he does. That's him. That was the package, right? So
That's right.
it's an all-together thing.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to balance, the home life, and most of us guys out there have regular everyday jobs too. There's very, 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 very few people doing this for a living in this part of the world, for sure. So, without Margaret's support and my two children, Ben and Elise, there's no way that you could do it, and I think that's a struggle that a lot of guys face on tour, that people just don't see that side of competitive fishing. It's a lot of time, it's a lot of dollars for sure, and time away from work, and that all comes with a price. So when it does all come together for you, it just makes it seem that much more worthwhile.
And just getting congratulations from everybody, from that fishing community, because you become kind of like a family. And you go to all these tournaments and hang out and cheer everybody on, and everybody was cheering for my hubby and his partner. That was nice.
Well, let's see if they got a big fish in there. They're going to need a big fish to get it where they need to be. And here it is, here it is. Look at that. The jiffy's on the pond. Here it is. Pow! Big fish. All right, the jiffy's on the pond. They got their prize fish.
This is Ray Molesdale. I've known since, I was 19
Peter
years
was
old.
19, yes.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, for a number of years, I bought a boat, Hydrosport, off of Ray. That was his boat, and we used to drag that thing over the bottom for the entire summer. And no question with the Skeeter show.
Yeah, actually Peter taught me how to fish shallow water, because I wasn't good at it. I would not throw stuff and the first time we were out in Rice Lake, actually, and the flapping sheds, when they first come out years ago. And we go into this bay, and I said, well, we're going to stop before we get to shore. And he said, well, yeah, in a minute. And the water was like, it looked awful. It was like dirty and scungy. And he throws this flapping shad about 4 feet from shore, and it didn't come back 2 feet, and there was like a largemouth, it was just an enormous thing. And I thought, oh my God, this works. And actually I still prefer flapping shads to frogs. Peter hasn't got me converted to frogs totally yet.
Long before he had a predisposition for catching low-water largemouth on a frog rod, Pete leveraged his passion to transform himself into a freshwater titan for many species, breaking records for pike, walleye, and trout year after year.
Yeah, he was a student at Sir Sanford Fleming College, and I had a lot of them used to come in my store, and they were all buying noodle rods in those days, fishing down at the Ganaraska for the steelheads and rainbows, and yeah, they were all noodle rod fanatics. So I actually brought in a range of noodle rods, like a mid-priced one. I think they were $49.95, just for the students, because they couldn't afford the higher end ones, right? Didn't want them spending all their OSAP money on fishing equipment. To congratulate them, I was actually amazed at it when I found out how they won it. I know Rob had fished for smallmouths, and I know Rob, I've known him, I've met him a few times, but I know he was a bit of a smallmouth guy, but Peter never was, but I guess he is now.
That's right.
The smallie guys will have to watch out for him now.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, this year's 2012 Classic, it was all thanks to that Humminbird side imaging technology for sure. You've got some really hard spots that poke up out of the mud on the bottom of Rice Lake, and we literally caught 2 fish in practice, and spent the rest of our time driving around marking these hard spots. What we've done here is we've actually marked a nice little pot of fish off of the side of one of these humps here. You just put your cursor right in the middle of the pod, stick a waypoint on it, and Bob's your uncle. We can then go back to map. If I press exit again there, it'll show you a little clump of fish. If I go back to the map, you can see it's right by another existing waypoint that we marked initially, and we're gonna circle around, get downwind, and come up on those fish and see if we got a group of smallmouth there. Times when we're out there getting ready for a tournament, I think there's 2 trains of thought out there, and a lot of people really want to get very, very specific, get everything dialed right in, down to a specific bait, size, color, all that good stuff. And I really simplified almost everything with my fishing, right down to colors even. There's basically 2 colors in my box, regardless of what type of lure we're talking about. There's light lures and dark lures, and I keep it very, very simple. And when it comes down to practice for me, I don't really do much more than I just want to know where fish are. It's almost that simple. I'll make a lot of assumptions on the water, and I think that's probably different from what a lot of guys do on the water.
Of the worker intake, you gotta be extremely excited about that. Congratulations. So you can give us a little insight what's happening here, buddy. You guys are sitting right now in a comfortable position. Is it a good position to be in? I know obviously you got a nice lead. Is it a good position?
I don't know if it could be any better or any worse. We'll take it, you know. In the Classic, we had with those bait fish dialed in on those rocks, and they just weren't moving. The key was fishing those bait fish. It wasn't looking around for smallmouth, watching the graph for that. It was really watching the GPS, making sure you're not getting over there. The last thing we wanted to do was move those bait fish. And as long as those bait fish were there, the smallies just kept coming. So in a lot of cases, when that wind was blowing, I would just hold off, make sure Rob's pinpointing it for sure. And he really he put on a gong show. It was phenomenal. Put on a clinic all weekend long. He got a lot of fish. It was great. Yeah, great partnership that way. Under those conditions, I think we snapped a lot of heads. Maybe a lot of guys thought we might have fluked those smallies or whatever, but coming in with 21 something or other on day 2 and establishing a 3-pound lead going into the final day certainly didn't go to our heads. I mean, we just finished talking about how humbling this sport can be. There was no question in our minds that we needed another good day on the water, and believe it or not, we're not satisfied at all at the end of day 3 with our 15 pounds, not even remotely. Very fortunate to have it, very lucky to have it. We didn't need it in the end. I think we won by 1.5 pounds or something like that, but I figured for sure we'd need another 17-18 pound day on day 3, and we were pretty confident that we were going to get it. And this entire discussion that we've been talking about, the key was those small shiners that were locked on the structure. At around 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, for the very first time all week long, I started to see the bait fish on the graph lifting off of the rocks. And I knew they were just about to blow out of there. They were on their way out. The pattern was kind of falling apart a little bit. And we did have to adjust a little bit, and we started roaming around a little bit more, trying to locate the fish. And as those bait fish started to disperse, obviously the smallies stopped coming to us, so we actually had to go out and hunt for those smallmouth. So I think that's why our weight was down for sure. The fish just weren't giving us that constant, steady supply of really good sized fish. So very fortunate to that end. There's no question there, but making those adjustments on the water, I mean, that kind of separates you from the pack. So. those little Erie darters, I'll tell you, it's kind of a generalist type of bait. And I don't know if they think it's a minnow, a crayfish, or maybe even an insect larva or something, but they sure eat them. It's just a beauty little morsel. They just know it's alive and they want to eat it. Yeah, dynamite little baits. Great little fish though. There you go, bud. Down to the depths. Yeah, in the Rice Lake Classic, we had talked about the bio-wedge fish scent playing a major role there, and we just had, not like we were being crowded out by any means, but we had a lot of guys competing for the same fish, that's for sure. These guys are that good. I mean, it's very common on tour for guys to find the same fish, and it's a first come, first served sort of situation, but it's not uncommon to have many different boats fishing the same sort of area. And for whatever reason, I like to attribute, I truly believe that it was this bio-wedge shiner potion. In fact, this is the wand here. A lot of guys like the wands a little better than the potion. There's no muss, no fuss, and it's no different than kind of like a chapstick, and it's a solid form right there. You can put that on just about any kind of bait there is. Keep it in your pocket and away you go. This is the actual shiner potion here in a liquid form. I like to actually take these bottles and put it into a separate spray bottle. I just find it a little bit more convenient. Quick spray and away you go. But without question, in many cases we were getting 6, maybe even 8 bites to one fish in the other boats that were around us that day. And these guys are all skilled. We're all throwing very similar baits at these things, and that's really the only thing that I can attribute to getting more bites than the other boats around us. The bio-wedge products are all made from the actual critters that are on the labeling. Everything from bloodworms, the frog wand, when we're doing our shallow water slop fishing, it's a huge advantage for sure. And crayfish, you name it. I believe that there's 27 different formulas out there, and I believe all of them are available in either the in the wand form or the potion format. And the key bait in the Classic for us, without question, we didn't stray from it for any more than maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and that was just kind of to give ourselves a break. From the wind, we actually had to quit fishing at one time on day 2 there. Winds were pretty intense. We were just completely out of control. My trolling motor was on high and we were still losing ground, so rather than risk messing with the spot anymore, we just peeled in behind an island, took a break for a while. But this is the Poor Boys Erie Darter in the junior size. We talked about a little bit earlier. I believe that it's more or less just a generalist type of profile. I'm not sure if fish really think that it's a minnow, maybe a craw, a crayfish, or even an insect larva, a leech. I mean, it's just the perfect size, bite-sized little morsel. And it's the texture, I believe, once they grab and get a touch of it, just those little ribbed sections on the side, I believe, as they're squeezing down on it, there's probably a little movement in there. And they just very rarely do you miss fish on these things at all. Once they've got it in their mouth and you've got that shiner potion on there, it's a done deal.
Pete's devotion to his family and his craft have taken him just about as far as he had hoped. Yet there is no doubt that winning the 2012 Classic Championship will add fuel to the fire